Good morning, brokers. Todd Bitter with JKS Mortgage. Just wanted to start the week off with something that I get asked quite a lot. Realtor connections. How do you develop them? Especially the newer people in the group that are newer to the business. We're coming out. We're still in a refi boom, so to say. Every time it seems like it's about over, something happens and it picks back up again. But we all know that is coming to an end at some point in the near future. So real estate agents are something you got to be working on right now. And I know a lot of you guys are trying. A lot of you guys have great ideas and it's working for you. But then some of you guys are struggling a little bit to find realtors to talk to. Let's face it, realtors get hounded on a daily basis, especially on Mondays, because there's several coaching groups out there that push what they call Marketing Mondays. And my agents tell me all the time that they hate Monday mornings and Monday early afternoons because their voicemail gets filled up with loan officers. So I take it to a completely different approach. I think the best realtor that you're going to get is going to be one that you organically build. What I mean by that is cold calling a realtor, ask them to go to coffee with you or lunch or breakfast or whatever. 95% of the time you're going to get blown off and they're not going to go. Okay. They're getting that same pitch, 20 times a week, maybe more, depending on what kind of production they do. And the ones that will take you up on that typically are the brand new realtors that really don't have an established base of business, or they're part-time realtors that are trying to get established and they're looking to you for referrals, not the other way around. So, be cautious of that type of approach. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I mean, anytime you can get in front of a realtor is a great thing, whether they're brand new to the business or on their way out the door retiring. It's always a good thing. But let's talk about how I've approached it versus that approach. Every single time I get a contract in, for a purchase, there's always two realtors on that contract. I mean, of course, we occasionally get the FSBO, occasionally we get the unrepresented buyer, but 95 out of 100 contracts will have two agents on that contract. If it's a referral from an agent you already work with, okay, great. You know that agent, business as usual. But the other agent, the listing agent, more than likely somebody you don't know. Or if you do know them, chances are it's not somebody you have a relationship with. It might just be somebody you've worked with in the past. So in that case, that's your opportunity. You basically have a captive audience with that realtor for the next 20 to 30 days, depending on the contract length. Hopefully 20 days because you're going to get a chance to shine and show how fast you are. But you have that agent's undivided attention pretty much. Let's face it. I mean, if you call that agent and they see it's you calling, or you email that agent, they see it's you emailing, they're going to answer the phone. Agents, that goes for you too. Or they're going to answer that email because they're thinking it's applying to the sale that they're currently a part of and their commission check. So I wouldn't approach it from a sales standpoint. I wouldn't call them the day after contract and say, hey, let's go to coffee. Let's do this. Let's do that. But what I do is from the very beginning on day one, once the contract's in and it's accepted and I've got everything, I then call the listing agent. And I do it for the buyer's agent as well. But in this scenario, I'm assuming we already know the buyer's agent. So I call the listing agent. I introduce myself and I simply say, I want to let you know that I'm always available. If you need anything on this file, I take calls, 7 days a week. If you need something on the weekend, call me, I'll answer. Let's face it, maybe the inspection period, maybe there's some repairs that are being negotiated and they have questions about how much credits they can give or this or that. That may happen on a Saturday afternoon because that's when they meet with their seller. So make them aware of how available you are. And I know a lot of people don't want to be available as much as I am. I tell my realtors, I'm available 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and I'm available from 7:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. And I also tell them, hey, after 7:30 p.m., you can text me And chances are I will answer. And if it's something, I'll call you back. I just would prefer after 7:30 you text me, just try to set a little bit of a boundary. But what you're doing from that very beginning is in the first conversation you have with that realtor, that listing agent, you're letting them know, hey, this guy's communicating. He is available. He's wanting to communicate with me. In Arizona, we have these things called LSUs, loan status update reports. Arizona is part of our contract that those have to be done every so many days. Most states don't have these. I think every state should adopt the Arizona system. As much as I complain and whine about having to fill the damn things out, they are a great tool because it enables us to check off the step-by-step process of the loan as it happens. We email that over to both agents and they can see how things are going on that loan. It's an ingenious system for Arizona real estate. But most you don't have that. So it's in a way it's good because now you can just pick up the phone and call them. I call every agent on files every Friday. I spend my Friday afternoons and early evenings calling every single agent, even the ones I know that sends me tons of referrals on the deals that we're working. I'll call, say Kelly, who sends me a lot of business, and I'll call her up on Friday afternoons and say, hey, Kel, Mr. Smith, this week so far, we've updated, we got the appraisal in and we're going for final or whatever, but I keep them in the loop. Again, for the agent you don't know, the listing agent in this case, that is so crucial because most listing agents complain that they're always in the dark. I've heard time and time again from listing agents, nobody tells me anything. I have to track down the loan officer. I have to find out where we're at with this damn loan. Are we even in approval status? Are we going to close on time? What's going on? So by calling that agent every single Friday during that process to keep them updated, right away, I'm standing out. And I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 agents will tell you, wow, the loan officers never call me when I'm the listing agent. It's like, and they'll remember you for this. I also do midweek calls when something major happens. So let's say I call that listing agent on a Friday, and then Tuesday the appraisal comes in. If the appraisal comes in at or above value, I immediately call the listing agent. I even call the listing agent before I call the buyer's agent if I know the buyer's agent. Okay. If I don't, I call the buyer's agent first. But the listing agent is usually my first phone call. I say, hey, guess what? The appraisal just came in. It's all good. It meets the parameters of the contract. Of course, I don't give them the exact value because we're not supposed to. It's a privacy thing. I just say, look, appraisal's in, all's good with the loan, and it's going into final underwrite or wherever we're at. At that point, I then call the buyer's agent, who I should at this point already know. But if I don't, I've already called them to go over it too. And I let the buyer's agent know, hey, the appraisal's good. If the appraisal comes in light or there's any kind of a problem, I call the buyer's agent first, regardless of how well I know the buyer's agent, just so the buyer's agent can be prepared and know that it came in a little light. I then ask the buyer's agent, do I have your permission to call the listing agent to tell them that the appraisal came in low, or do you want to talk to them first? Usually, most times, the buyer's agent wants to talk to the listing agent first, so I immediately send the buyer's agent a copy of the appraisal, and then I tell them, let me know once you've talked to the listing agent, and let me know when it's okay to call. And then I call the listing agent. So if that happens on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I still make my Friday phone call. There's nothing wrong with talking to that listing agent twice in a week or 3 times in a week. I don't want to be overbearing about it. I don't want to call them for every little detail. I don't want to call them and say, hey, the insurance is in, or hey, the flood cert came back, or anything like that. That's overkill. But I make a point in every single Friday calling that listing agent and buyer's agent to just make them aware that this is a guy or girl that really communicates well. And it treats me with respect. And I go out of my way to treat the listing agents with respect. I mean, if you just look around on the Facebook groups, you're going to see so many loan officers trashing realtors and especially listing agents. Guys, I get it. Sometimes they drive me nuts too. But I don't think if you scour my thousands of posts and Brokers Are Better and the Mortgage Loan Officer Network and all the other groups out there I'm a member of, I don't know if you could find any negative realtor posts from me. It's not because they don't drive me a little nutty at times, But it's kind of like the old adage of people can hear you smile through the phone. I mean, of course they can't, but it's the way you come across. And if you're smiling through the phone, you have a slightly different cadence to your voice and a slightly different attitude. Same thing with me. No matter how much realtors drive me crazy, I put a good face on it. I say, these are my people. These are my referral partners. I love realtors, so it's just all about building that mentality of there are partners, there are paychecks. If anything else, even if you can't stand to deal with realtors, they're your paycheck, and a big paycheck at times. So keep that in mind. Kill your realtors with kindness, fill them full of communication, and make them aware that you're that person, you're that loan officer that is going to be the best it's ever been for communicating with them. You're going to keep them informed. They're never not going to know what's going on with that process, even though they're the listing agent. At the end of the sale, the day we record and fund, I usually wait till late in the day. I then call the listing agent, or sometimes I wait till the next day. It depends on how busy it's been, especially if it's a Friday. If it's a Friday, I wait till late in the day. If it's a midweek, I usually wait till the next day. But I then call the listing agent and I say, hey, I just want to thank you. The sale that we just went through with Mr. Smith and your sellers, Mr. Jones, everything went really smooth. We closed on time with no hiccups. And, I thank you because a big part of that was your professionalism on the sell side. And I just wanted to, drop you a quick call and thank you for your help with this transaction. We all worked together as a team on this one and got this one put to bed and on to the next one. And by the way, if you ever need anything, I know you have your own loan officers that you work with. We all have our partnerships and everything else, but just keep me in mind if you ever need anything, because, I'll answer my phone at 9:00 on a Saturday night if you need a quick pre-qual because your other guy is on vacation or just not available. So, if you don't mind, just keep my number. I won't be bothering you in future. Just hopefully we'll work together sometime in the future, whether it's on the list side or whether if maybe we can get a buyer together sometime. I just keep it very light. I don't push and act like I'm trying to sell them. I just want them to remember my name. Then I wait 30 days or thereabouts. And then I simply drop them an email and I just say, hey, Mr. Smith, who we closed 30 days ago as my buyer. I was talking to him about his first payments coming up. And I just it just reminded me of how much I enjoyed working with you on the list side. So just wanted to drop you a quick email and say, again, thanks for everything. And please, keep me in mind if you ever need anything. I'm always available. And, if I can help you out in a pinch, I'm your guy. Now leave it at that. I don't contact them again. I don't follow up 30 days later, 90 days later, because at that point, if they're not interested, they're not interested. And I don't want to be chasing. I don't want to be chasing a realtor. It's never going to become anything. There's too many more I can be chasing. Doing that 9 out of 10 times, you're going to fail, and they're just going to ignore you. I mean, they are. I mean, let's face it. It's not going to work that often. It only has to work a couple times a year. If you can pick up a new agent, if you can pick up a couple a year, over the next 5 years, you've built a stable of agents that are going to be great referral partners. One of my largest referral partners, outside of Redfin, which I get a bunch of business from, but one of my largest traditional referral partners that has been sending me business for 12 years now was a listing agent on a transaction. And the very first day I spoke to her, she was that typical, just pushy, know-it-all, bitchy. Like, honestly, I was like hanging up the phone thinking, oh, God, I got to work with this woman for the next 30 days, But I stuck to my script. I stuck to my guns and did my job. I did everything the same with her, even though I didn't really like her that well. But I also knew she did decent production in town. She wasn't like some part-time newbie I never want to hear from again. She actually did decent production. At the end of the transaction, she said, this was really great. I really appreciate the fact that, you talked to me through this whole process. And it's so hard nowadays to get a loan officer to even talk to me. And then, I don't know, like 3 months passed and she called me out of the blue and said, hey, I got a customer for you if you're interested. And I said, of course I'm interested. That became another customer a few months later. It was like one here, one there for the first year. By year 2, she was sending me pretty much regular business. There was a period of time over about an 8-year period during the last 12 years that I was closing probably 10 or 15 loans a year with her. I was averaging about one a month with her. She's doing more listings now than buy. So I'm probably done 4 or 5 with her in the last year because she's really focused on listings and the higher dollar listings. But still, it's a great referral partner. I mean, she's very loyal to me when she can, and I'm not doing as much with her anymore, but I made a lot of money off that realtor over the last 12 years, a lot. And it just goes to show the listing way works. And I've got several other agents that I met that way. Jill just happens to be the one I think of the most. So keep that in mind. And again, if you don't know the buyer's agent because the buyer came to you another way, now you've got 2 opportunities. But the number one thing I hear from agents these days is I don't get enough communication from my loan officers. Loan officers don't answer their phone. I mean, I know you guys are probably just absolutely sick of hearing it because I say it every time I speak to anybody is, answer your damn phone. Seriously. I mean, it's the most basic, simple. I mean, it's like an accountant using a calculator. I mean, it's just a no-brainer thing. But unfortunately, a large portion of the loan officers out there just don't do it. Now, of course, I can't answer every single phone call. I mean, if I'm on the phone with a customer, I don't hang up with them to grab another call and try to juggle phone calls. Sometimes I do get people to voicemail. But what I do is when I see it go to voicemail and I'm on the other line, I simply click the person I'm talking to onto speaker, or if they're already in my earphones, if I got them in, and then I immediately send a text back to the person that just missed the call from and just say, hey, I'm on the other line. I will call you back very soon. A lot of times they don't even leave a voicemail because they've already got the text before they can finish the voicemail, but that's beside the point. The point is that answer your phone. It's simple, it's basic, but it just doesn't happen as much as it should. And I'm not talking about Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Most of us answer our phones during that time. I'm talking about the phone call that comes in at 7:30 on Saturday night. Do I want to answer my phone at 7:30 on Saturday night? No. But do I understand what that does for my business? Do I understand what that does for future referrals, especially if it's a realtor calling and not a borrower? Yes. I used this example once a while back. Walk into, like today, I'll probably go Jersey Mike's to get a sub for lunch. If I walk up that cashier and I said, if somebody were to call you at midnight on Christmas Eve and you had to spend 20 minutes on the phone with that person, but there's a 75% chance at the end of that phone call, they're going to hand you $5,000. Would you answer the phone? And you know what? Everybody you're going to talk to outside of the loan business is say, hell yeah, I'm going to answer that phone call. Guys, every time that phone rings, it's a $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $8,000 paycheck on the other line, possibly. So to ignore that call because you just don't feel like answering because it's Saturday night, or you just don't feel like answering because it's Sunday morning and you're slightly hungover from the night before, it's money. It's money in the bank. Be that person that's better than your competition. Because I tell you what, a lot of times, and you guys know this is true, how many times does the phone ring and they don't leave a message? And why are they not leaving a message? Usually it's a new customer that the realtor said, here's a couple names of loan officers you can call. My Redfin agents are required to give 3 names out for every single customer. They can't just say call Todd only. They can strongly suggest on the first phone call, but corporate rule is that they have to give 3 names out. A lot of realtors follow that, even traditional agents. So when that phone call comes in on a Sunday at 11 a.m., if I miss that call and they don't leave a message, did they not leave a message because they're going to call me back? Or did not leave a message because they're calling the next one on the list? More than likely, they're calling the next one on the list. And if the next one on the list is me or one of the people that do business like me, you lost that opportunity. You've lost it. I mean, unless the next one on the list is somebody like Quicken Loans that gouges and price gouges, and the customer just freaks out about when they see the LE, then they call you back, maybe. But if they called a decently priced broker, you've lost your opportunity for that customer forever. So, I can't stress it enough. Answer your damn phone. So that being said, the other thing, and I know I don't want to keep you guys too long because I know these things get really boring after too much time. The next thing is work your title companies. Title companies are a treasure trove of just referral sources. The agents write the title company into the contract because they have a relationship with that title agent. That's their person that they send all their business to if they get to pick the title company on the contract. Okay. That agent and that title person talk. That agent goes into the title company's office for all their closings. Usually they talk. That agent is that title company is the first one to hear when that agent is pissed off because the agent calls up and says, "Hey, are the Smith docs in?" Title company says, "No, I haven't seen him yet. And I know we're closing tomorrow. And can you call the loan officer and see where they're at?" Then the agent's like, this damn loan officer, I don't know what's going on. He keeps me in the dark. That title company and that realtor are talking. That title company person knows when that realtor is not happy with their lender. There's two major title companies in town that are, the escrow officers are really busy. They're really well respected in the industry, that have my business cards in their desk. They like working with me so well that they give my cards out when they hear realtors complaining about loan officers. They will literally say, I won't say the title company's name because some of you watching may work with her, but X will literally say, "Hey, have you ever talked to Todd Bitter over JKS Mortgage?" And the realtor will be like, "I don't know who that is." And she's like, "Here, take one of his cards. He's great. You should work with him. He's great. Trust me, you'll like him." That's exactly what she tells people. Without going into too much detail, Redfin is one of my biggest referral partners. I mean, I close about 100 loans a year with Redfin. That's a lot of loans. I met Redfin. I met the market manager, the person that oversees the entire Phoenix market for Redfin. I met that manager through a title agent because the Redfin manager was complaining about the loan officer that was on a file that was going south. And that title agent said, "You should call Todd." And then it just so happened, as a work of luck, I had just closed one where the buyer knew me from a past purchase and he was using Redfin. So I just happened to close a Redfin deal and it all came together. And I met this manager who's no longer with them, but that's my foot in the door. Several of my realtors I work with, I met through title. Now, why does title refer me business? Because A, I go out of my way to treat them with respect and I'm nice to them. And B, when we do UWMs, I do all the UClose for them. Most title agents hate dealing with the UClose system. To us, it seems like a really unique and easy to use system, but these title companies have to deal with 30 or 40 different systems. They're not just dealing with UWM. They're dealing with every bank, every retail shop, every broker out there using Provident, you name it, whoever, So I handle everything. I tell the title companies, "Send me your CD. I'll do the rest." And then I go in, I balance everything out. If I need an escalation, I create it. I make it all happen. I send them the full blown, complete balance package, and these title companies eat it up. And I know several of you guys have started doing this, and everybody that started doing this, they give me feedback that things are going easier and smoother for them at closing. And the title companies are ranting and raving about how great they are. And I think, Aaron Reed is here in my market. He's actually my competitor and he started doing the same thing, but I love Aaron and he's great. And he's actually picked up referrals through one of his title agents who actually I know. And I'm like, damn, I probably shot myself in the foot because this escrow officer sends Aaron some referrals now, and not me, but that's okay. I've got more than enough business. And Aaron's a great guy, deserves every bit of it. But follow that model. I know it's a little extra work, but guys, it's so much less stressful on the whole system if you do this way. These title companies will remember it. They'll love you, and they will, when it comes time to refer a loan officer to a realtor, they'll remember you're the guy that's easy to work with. So you're the guy they want to refer to Mr. and Mrs. Realtor. I know we're about 25 minutes in this. I've done nothing but speak to realtors today. I know there's a lot of refis and stuff going on. That's not really my thing. My thing is realtors, So again, don't overlook the realtor business for the easy refis right now. I know the easy refis are easy money in your pocket, but they will dry up, and they will dry up rather quickly sometime in the very near future. Maybe not this year, maybe early next year, but it's going to come to a screeching halt for the most part. And those guys that develop the realtors now, when everybody else is doing the low hanging fruit refis, are going to be well rewarded, because the realtors are going to remember, you were the guy that was stepping up during the easy times. So keep that in mind. If you guys ever have any questions, I try to answer as much as I can. I stay pretty busy, but it's best to just hit me up, tag me in a Facebook post or something. I'll do my best. Hopefully I see all you guys at Fuse. I can't say enough about the importance of being at Fuse. I really can't. So be there, come up to me, introduce yourself if we haven't met before. But again, work those agents, work the listing agents, work your title companies, make it happen, and you will be surprised how fast you can grow your real estate business over a few short years. And more importantly than anything else, over all others, answer your damn phone. By the way, Katie at AIME, and AIME made these shirts up. They're in the AIME shop right now, and they have AIME on the back of them. They're just the AIME shirts. I get nothing from these shirts. I know it has the goofy little WWTB thing down here. I can't do this backwards. I'm not like a good weather person that can do shit backwards. But but anyway, I don't get anything from these. All the profits from these shirts go to AIME, which is a great cause. It helps us all. It's kind of quirky. It's kind of funny, but I know we all know it. Answer your damn phone. It's so important. All right, guys, have a kick-ass week. Start the month of August out right, and let's crush it together. And I'll see you guys at Fuse.